Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. As always, I'm Ari here with Korea. We're officially on the last day of May. Tomorrow starts June. We're already getting to the dog days of summer. We had the Mavericks advance to the NBA Finals last night, so we officially have the finals matchup set between Dallas and Boston beginning next Thursday, I believe, June 6th. So we still have the hockey going on, but we have mostly just baseball and WNBA now, and we have French Open and tennis. But pretty soon it's basically just going to be MLB and WNBA by the end of June, pretty much. So we're getting to
Oh,
those
but
days.
wait. Oh, but wait. Don't forget. We got the Euros. We got Copa America for all my footy fans out there. We
Yeah,
got the Euros starting on June 24th. We got Copa America starting, I believe, Euro starts June 20th. Copa America starts June 24th. So for my footy fans out there, I know it's going to be a little light, not like the Premier League Saturdays and Champions League, obviously the final tomorrow, but we do got some. We got our pride and country, obviously the United States, in Copa America. So I'm definitely going to be, hammering Pulisic anytime goal score a lot. But as Ari was mentioning, we are unfortunately getting to that time of year, where it's
man.
going to be strictly baseball in terms of our.
I was also going to say today starts the college baseball tournament, so not every of us have plays in that today, but I'm sure at least I'll have something. Probably next week at some point. But yeah, you were saying.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying, even though we are getting toward the end, of a basketball season, as Ari just mentioned as well, the College Baseball World Series, the tournament officially started with the World Series in Omaha just right around the corner. So, that there's a lot of excitement in the air right now for all the college baseball fans around the NCAA. But we're just gonna get right into our picks for today. Obviously, we were absent, Wednesday and Thursday, so we didn't really want to do a recap. But here for my Friday, I'm giving you three picks because all I've been doing is sitting here recovering. And I've been obviously in the lab. So first, we're gonna go to Atlanta here. We're gonna take the Aves and Braves first five under 4.5 here. We're getting that around -120 on DraftKings. We're targeting this pitching matchup, and we're mostly leaning on the Braves side, but we're targeting this pitching matchup. JP Sears, obviously, that is obviously one of the better pitchers for this A's team in terms of the rotation. Against the Braves, he is allowing a 200 batting average, and this team obviously, I'm more backing the fact that obviously they did lose a power bat in Ronald Acuna, same injury as I did, unfortunately. So I do think that it is going to be a little bit more of a toll to kind of adjust, without having that power lead guy that we just saw last year. Unfortunately, tear his ACL early in the season. I do think that with that, I think the Braves offense is going to be coming out a little bit slower against JP Sears. Not the hardest throwing lefty, but his movement is a little bit funky, and obviously playing against a couple of former teammates, obviously, Matt Olson, Sean Murphy. So, some former Braves in that lineup, some former A's in that lineup. But, at the same time, I do think he'll be able to do just enough, to not have too much damage against, obviously, a Braves team that we know is known for mostly of their hitting. But we're mostly backing Ronaldo Lopez at home here. And obviously, the A's bats have been up and down all around. And, now they got to travel up from Tampa Bay after the series where they didn't really do much, but they did just enough to kind of make it a little competitive and interesting. Obviously, there was that Jose Siri game tying bottom of the ninth homer off of Mason Miller, his first blown save of his career. I think the offense for this A's team struggles today. Obviously Ronaldo Lopez. This is more of a line reading bet here. Ronaldo Lopez, I've seen his over like 16 and a half outs all over Twitter and everywhere. I think his line's at around like -130. So a lot of people are saying, or a lot of bettors out there believing that Ronaldo Lopez has a good day. So I'm just taking them through 5 here just to have a good day as well, against a weaker A's lineup. So I'm just taking the Braves A's first 5 under 4.5 here. We're getting at a -120. Just backing both pitchers in this spot here. JP Sears, who has decent numbers, against the Braves, even though the Braves have been hitting a little bit better against the lefties. in recent history, the Braves, I'm more leaning on to kind of cash this first 5 under 4.5, backing Ronaldo Lopez against a struggling A's lineup. So we're taking the A's and Braves first 5 under 4.5 on -120. That's your best value on DraftKings. And then we're going from a first 5 under to first 5 over in the late night game. The Rockies and Dodgers in LA. We're taking that first 5 over 4.5. We're getting that at around -105 here. I believe the only reason we're getting this is just because we're getting Walker Buehler at home. And, I love Walker Buehler, but I don't think this is the same Walker Buehler that we saw a couple years ago. And obviously that's just because he did come off of Tommy John. That's not an easy injury to come off of. And, Colorado's bats are no scrubs either. We look at, the bats for the Rockies, and, McMahon is hitting 286, Ezekiel Tovar 286, Elias Diaz, one of their better hitters, almost hitting 300 on the season. Even though holistically the Rockies don't have the stats to kind of back this over 4.5. I'm mostly kind of backing the fact that Walker Buehler maybe allows 1 or 2 runs just because he's not that same kind of form that we have seen from him in previous years. He's 1-2 with a 4.26 ERA, and it maybe is just because he's kind of slowly getting back into his form. But when we saw him in his first few games this season, 3 runs against the Miami Marlins, he allowed 3 runs in San Diego. Obviously, he had his first really good game where he pitched that shutout at home, 6 innings, 7 Ks against the Cincinnati Reds, but then played them on the road not even a few days later, and then gave up 3 runs on the road. So maybe it's because of the fact that he is on the road, but at the same time, in his first start against Miami at home, he allowed 3 runs over 4 innings. So I think it's just, we're still figuring out which Walker Buehler we're going to get. Obviously after that one great start against the Reds, I think he's still trying to figure out his form, and I just don't really like his matchup today, even though I do think maybe he allows not as many runs, like 3 or 4, maybe just 1 or 2. I'm mostly backing the Dodgers, going to help me out with this first 5 over here. But, I do love the Dodgers matchup today because we're just fading Dakota Hudson. Dakota Hudson sucks. That guy stinks. He is one of the worst pitchers in baseball. He has a 5.54 ERA. I think his WHIP is somewhere near 2. It's just not good. It's not good. I think he's allowed a run in every single start that I've seen this season. He's allowed a run in every single start since April 1st, and we're obviously it's June is tomorrow. So that just shows how consistently he is allowing runs, and whether they're early or late. I think the Dodgers bats come out alive. Obviously, we always talk about how the Dodgers lineup is always going to be propelling them in games, and I think this is the point where this is the game where you say, okay, the Dodgers, well, even though you just put up 10 on the road against the Mets, you're coming back home and you're playing a familiar team with a horrible pitching staff right now, along with a shaky-ish bullpen. I really do like this first 5 over 4.5. I'm just targeting the fact that Dakota Hudson maybe brings in 2 or 3. Hopefully 4 more potentially, just to kind of make this a little bit sweat free for the Dodgers. But I really just think that we're just kind of backing the fact that the Dodgers are going to score runs and they're going to score runs early. But I don't really like backing the first 5 money line. I just don't really trust Walker Buehler to but anything could happen. Friday night baseball, it's the first game of most of all these series. So, you never know. Teams are still trying to figure themselves out. So we're just kind of mostly backing the fact that runs are going to be scored. And that's what I like here. So I'm backing the Rockies and Dodgers first 5 over 4.5. We're getting that at -105 here. I think that's great value there. Almost a little bit of even money there. And then finally, I haven't done this, I don't think all season yet, but we're giving out a hit parlay, and these are my favorite 2 guys today to get only 1 hit, obviously over 0.5 hits. And when you're putting this in your bet slips, but we're going to Cody Bellinger first in the Reds and Cubs game, and then we're going to add on William Contreras in the White Sox and Brewers game. We get that to around -114 on DraftKings right now. Cody Bellinger, I'll talk about him first. Obviously, Cody Bellinger, so don't worry, he is in the lineup. Obviously, the lineups have came out, so that game does start in about, I think, an hour soon. So get this bet in as soon as you can. I do like Cody Bellinger today. Just get a hit. That's all we need today. Lifetime against Graham Ashcraft, he is 1 for 2, but that 1 hit was a homer. So take it as you will. But the 1 hit was a homer, but I do like him just to get 1 hit today. Obviously, we talk about how, Cody Bellinger at home is one of the better hitters for this Cubs lineup. One of the more consistent hitters when he is at home. Obviously, and I think he's had a hit in his last 5 or 6 games. So kind of going back on trends, I love to back guys who are, going back home and, hitting the ball well. And, on the road, he was hitting the ball well. Obviously, in every single game on the road, he had a hit in both games in St. Louis. And then in that 4-game series in Milwaukee, averaging 1 or 2 hits. But now taking him back home, where he is a lot more comfortable. I love backing a guy when he goes back home after a long road trip. So we're backing Cody Bellinger to just get 1 hit today. And then on the other side, the other part of this 2-leg parlay is William Contreras. He has been one of the better hitters for this Milwaukee Brewers team on the season, consistently hitting. I think the only guy hitting right above 300. He's hitting 317 on the season. Christian Yelich probably the next guy up, but even if he's never really faced, Eric Fedde before the White Sox, Eric Fedde, on the road, this White Sox team is just bad. And on the road, I'm not really going to trust Eric Fedde or anyone in that White Sox rotation and bullpen to really limit William Contreras, the best, I'd say, hitter on this Milwaukee Brewers team, who is really hitting the ball well. Obviously, he has been a little inconsistent at times in most recent history, obviously having games where he went 0 for 4 against the Cubs in that 4-game series that just finished up, but obviously having 1 for 4 games. So now he's facing obviously a really, really worse team, obviously in from the Cubs to the White Sox at home. Obviously, he hits a lot better at home, and he loves. And the one caveat I will say is that they love hitting right-handers, the Milwaukee Brewers, and obviously Eric Fedde, the right-hander that he is. I think the fact that he is allowing a 284 batting average to this Milwaukee Brewers team, kind of just paints the picture, that it's going to be a hit parade for the Brewers, and hopefully William Contreras just gets one of them. So that's my 2-leg parlay for us, just Cody Bellinger and William Contreras to each get a hit or 0 over 0.5 hits, obviously, in your bet slips. It comes out to about -114 on DraftKings. So those are my 3 plays today. Obviously, A's and Braves, first 5 under 4.5. Rockies and Dodgers, first 5 over 4.5. And then the Cody Bellinger, William Contreras hit parlay that comes out to about -114 on DraftKings. Ari, what have you cooked up on this final Friday in May?
2 plays for me today. We'll start off with the Twins, starting up here against the Astros. This is the one where something has to give. You have Pablo Lopez on the mound against Ronel Blanco. And Lopez has really, really struggled pretty much all season, but especially as of late, last 2 starts, giving up 6 runs against the Rangers and 7 against the Nationals. And you got an Astros lineup that's really been struggling as of late. Just lost 3 or 4 to the Mariners, and the Mariners lineup was terrible in the whole series. But so was the Astros. Obviously, some in part, due to the Mariners pitching, but still, the last 6 games, they've scored 4 or less in 5 of their last 6 games. So this is like one where something has to give between the Astros lineup breaking out or Lopez, finally bouncing back with a better start. I'm banking on Lopez here. Blanco's been good. He just came back from a suspension where he threw, I think, 7 one-run innings against Oakland in his last start. So, it's basically an even line, which I think is also a little bit telling with how much Lopez has struggled. But again, the Astros have struggled as well offensively. So, you can kind of go both ways with that line and where it could be. But I'm just fading the Astros lineup here and looking for Pablo Lopez because we know what he's capable of, obviously, with his success in the past. Just has not been his – it's mostly early in the season he's pitching a little bit better than he has been as of late. He's had some good starts mixed into what's been, an underwhelming season for him. So I'm just looking for – I feel like this is a good bounce-back spot for him against his struggling lineup in Houston. That's obviously, still capable with, a lot of the same names that are still in their lineup. But I'm going with the Twins money line in that first play. And then late night play, Yankees in San Francisco. Stroman against Hicks, who have both been pitching really well this season. And this is really just like both pitchers have been pitching well, but the Giants lineup is like the one aspect of both teams that has been not as consistent, for the most part. So I thought about a way of maybe just fading the Giants offense, just backing Stroman, but I just decided just to take the Yankees here. I feel like the value at -135 was good enough to back them here. So yeah, I mean, the Yankees have had some struggles offensively when you don't have Judge and Soto, hitting home runs. But you did just have Volpe. I believe it was 21 game history come to an end the other night. So he's been playing pretty well, and obviously Soto and Judge can do what they always do at any point. So I do think it's going to be a close game, probably lower scoring, unless Soto and Judge can connect on one, and hit it out of the yard. But I believe the Giants Park is more pitcher friendly, if I'm not mistaken. So it's obviously you're going to have lower totals in those games. Almost every game in San Francisco. But Soto and Judge sometimes don't care about your park and if it's hitter or pitcher friendly or whatever. So yeah, 2 plays for me: Twins money line and Yankees money line.
You see, I was gonna say something about the Twins, but Pablo Lopez, I love him. I don't know if I want to back him in this spot. I was looking at the Astros, but I just can't back the Astros. But I do love fading the Astros, obviously. And you mentioned the losing 3 out of 4 against the Seattle Mariners on the road. Their offense isn't really clicking right now. You mentioned Ronel Blanco coming back after suspension, his first game back after I think he was throwing 7 innings, like one hit ball, and then all of a sudden he just got tossed for having some kind of illegal substance in his glove or on it or wherever it was. And then Pablo Lopez, you mentioned he has had a couple rough starts, in back-to-back consecutive starts for him. But, I will say the one kind of caveat for the Astros, they're going back home to a hitter-friendly park where they love to hit the ball. So, and Pablo Lopez, even though he has, you mentioned something's got to give, whether it's the Astros hitting struggles or Lopez's pitching struggles, something's got to give. I see you're back in Pablo Lopez. I definitely don't blame you there. And then going to the Yankees, obviously, I think the Yankees are a great look tonight. You mentioned the bats for the Giants struggling against right-handed pitching. That's kind of their one caveat. They don't hit righties well, and they hit lefties well. And obviously, Stroman, one of the better, obviously one of the more, I'd say, better personality guys in baseball. But he's had his up and down starts. But I think I look to him to have a bounce back today. You mentioned against
in May he has like a 1.8 ERA. So he's been really good the past like 4 or 5 starts.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I know he had that one start. I forgot who it was against. Where I think he got blown up. Oh yeah, it was against Houston, but obviously that was when Houston had their bats. But after that, pretty consistent against Minnesota, the Mariners, and the Padres, and now obviously they're playing one of the worst right-handed pitching lineups in baseball against the Giants, who do struggle. And you mentioned Oracle Park, one of the more pitcher-friendly parks as well. So I was also targeting that under. Just because you mentioned, you didn't really want to fade either pitcher in terms of Jordan Hicks and Marcus Stroman, but the Yankees money line probably just a lot more safer. You're getting the Yankees at a good price here, the better team with the better pitching matchup today. And then you mentioned it doesn't even matter what ballpark it is. Soto or Judge will probably find a way to do some damage and drive some runs in. So I do like the Yankees and Twins for you. Those are always 2 plays. My 3 plays today: the A's and Braves first 5 under 4.5, Rockies and Dodgers first 5 over 4.5, and then the Cody Bellinger and William Contreras hit parlay. Those are all of my plays. Obviously, you can find this full card and full video on our Twitter down below, AKP Sports Talk. Give that a follow, like, whatever you want to do. Just help us out, please. Obviously, we love all the support that you guys give us. You can find our full Twitter and our full card and our full video posted momentarily. But that is going to be doing it for this episode. We thank you and appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to be starting back on Monday with a new month and a new bankroll. Obviously, Avi talked about the potential addition of some college baseball plays as the tournament does start today, and as we kind of get a good look at some first games starting right now as a matter of fact. So
this weekend's the regionals, so it'll be the super regionals by next week, so I'll probably have something for some super regional for next week.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know super regionals are definitely a lot more interesting for people to target, some bets on after the regional competition. So we're going to take a look into that. But that's going to do it for this episode of AKP Sports Talk. That's Ari. I'm Korea. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you guys on Monday. Peace out, guys.